Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson announced this week that the city of Gary is cooperating fully with federal and state officials as they investigate the city's information technology department. Representatives of the Indiana State Police, the FBI, and the Department of Treasury descended upon city offices executing search warrants, one of which was at the Information Technology Department housed in the Gary City Hall. Special Agent Wendy Osborne of the Federal Bureau of Investigation would only confirm that some action had been taken.
The FBI was conducting investigative activity in the Gary, Indiana area earlier this week, the nature of which I can't disclose at this time.
Lakeshore Report reached out to Mayor Freeman Wilson and city officials for additional information, but they say they'll refrain from commenting until the investigation is completed. Some state officials are trying to make sure residents know their options when it comes to health care, and those officials are coming to a city near you. Experts from the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration were on hand at the public libraries in Michigan City and Hammond this week to spread the word about improved options for coverage under Indiana's health insurance program, or the Healthy Indiana Plan. HIP 2.0 now covers households with incomes up to 138% of the federal poverty level. Indiana adults who are not eligible for Medicare or other Medicaid coverage can apply. Officials with Franciscan Alliance are sponsoring the pop-up enrollment sessions, and event organizers say the new 2.0 plan is more bang for the buck.
Well, we're really trying to get the word out there because so many people could potentially qualify for it, and it's a great program. It offers a lot of new features that the original Healthy Indiana Plan didn't have. For example, HIT Plus has vision and dental benefits, so that's something that's great that wasn't there before.
For more information, you can call 1-877-438-4479 or visit www.hip.in.gov. Every year, people from all over Northwest Indiana get together to celebrate the most influential women in the region. This year, the celebration honoring those women will take place on October 15th at the Avalon Manor in Merrillville. Event organizers say there is still time to nominate your favorite influential woman, and for the first time, you can do it online at nwiwomen.com. Nominations must be submitted by June 19th. This event not only honors women, but over the past 4 years has raised over $50,000 for local charities and nonprofits of Northwest Indiana.
So we wanted to do that. We wanted to give back to charities that have programming that empowers and supports women and girls. But it's also about men and women working together, right? We've gone beyond those sort of women do this and men do this, right? To collaborative partnerships of supporting each other.
Proceeds from this year's event will go to local charities and programs like the Sojourner Truth House, Opportunity Enterprises, and the Lake County Chapter of Mental Health of America. Coming up, Hillary Powell meets some local kids getting a chance to feel normal at a special camp. And Stephen Lattimore explores a little piece of White Sox fan paradise. Those stories plus Steve Walsh coming up next.
Lakeshore Report wants to hear from you. Send your thoughts, concerns, questions, and story ideas to tvfeedback@lakeshorepublicmedia.org. You can also reach us on Facebook and Twitter at Lakeshore Report. Make sure to tweet us using the hashtag NWIPride, and you may see your comments on air. Lakeshore Report, providing you region-focused content.
Fans of summer look forward to vacations, long lazy days, and plenty of carefree fun in the summertime heat. But some Northwest Indiana youngsters seldom get the chance to be as carefree as their peers. That's because they're some of the more than 200,000 Americans under the age of 20 who live with diabetes. But there's one place in northern Indiana that gives some of these kids a chance to be, well, kids. Hillary Powell has more.
Dylan Pinkley of Valparaiso has a lot he wants to do at Camp John Warvel.
Carpet ball, kayaking, stand-up, paddleboard.
Hi, camera! He and 174 other campers all have type 1 diabetes, which means their bodies don't produce insulin. It also means Pinkley usually has a different list on his mind.
This is how we check our blood.
Yeah. Then you have to check your sugars every 2 hours, or whatever age you are, it changes.
So often we hear from our campers that they're the only one in their school that may have diabetes, and they don't know anyone else, and sometimes they get a little bullied. They come here and they're with people that are all doing the same thing, all at the same times, and they're with people who get it.
Maybe my blood sugar's been running really high. I have to take it like 12 times a day. Just kind of keep going with it, you know? Some days are good, some days are bad, just kind of, you know. I think it makes me stronger.
It's absolutely always on their mind. Our goal is to educate all the campers one way or the other. Usually when they get dropped off at camp, their parents have certain goals, and the campers, if the older campers at least, have certain goals that they like to work on throughout the week.
It's sugar-free stuff.
It's one week where perhaps the most value is the chance to be a bit forgetful.
It's nice at camp because it's kind of like it's something that's centered on diabetes, but at the same time it's not because everybody else has it. So it's pretty nice.
Go to diabetes camp if you have diabetes.
In North Webster, Hillary Powell, Lakeshore Report.
Yeah, let's go.
Names like Frank Thomas, Carlton Fisk, and Minnie Minoso are the reasons the Chicago White Sox are beloved by fans. Those legions of fans gobble up anything with the White Sox name on it, and that is why the organization uses that love for the team to raise money for the community. Stephen Lattimore has more.
Just imagine it, rooms full of game-worn, authentic Sox memorabilia and at discount prices. This is the Sox Charities garage sale.
That's 35. Yeah, but he needs this color.
The White Sox are selling everything a Sox fan could want, from the pictures on the walls to the seats from the clubhouse, hundreds of baseballs, the bricks from Old Comiskey Park, the turnstiles and the seats too, even broken bats. There are pictures, signed and unsigned, hats, and more hats, and helmets too, and tons of jerseys. They even have the cleats the players wore, and there are empty bottles that might be part of the 2005 World Series celebration. And one of the biggest treasures of all, the locker of Jose Abreu. Everything here was used by players during a game. These are one-of-a-kind items.
We have things from the old ballpark up to, jerseys and hats and helmets that came out of the clubhouse at the end of last season. So longtime fans, new fans, we just try to feature something that everybody would be interested in.
Derek White promised his daughter one day they would come to the White Sox garage sale, and this year they made it. His favorite? You guessed it.
Jerseys. They've always been a good Southside team. I've always rooted for them, and I don't like the Cubs.
The fans who come to the garage sale are the true believers.
Well, I've been a Sox fan ever since my dad took me to my first game in the mid-'50s, and they lost 9-1 to the Washington Senators. So I knew they were my team.
What an opportunity to buy something that the Sox used or was in the park. It's just great. I have a piece of AstroTurf from the old White Sox park that I've saved, and I got that when I was like maybe 14 years old. So this is just such a joy to come here. My dad was a Sox fan because the family's a Sox. The family is just we've always been Sox fans. It's just so Chicago, we're South Side, it's just great.
Peter Custer was in town from Los Angeles. He heard about the garage sale and rushed right over.
Just fun stuff to have, give to the nephews and stuff. Gritty team, good team, always plays hard, good history. Yeah.
The White Sox uses the funds from the garage sale to pay for its charitable giving all year long, and they give away millions.
So we focus our support on youth education programs, organizations like Umoja or the Posse Foundation or After School Matters that are working with students in schools across the city. We focus on health and wellness programs, and that's where our youth baseball programs fit. So we have an amazing youth baseball development program that's not only teaching kids how to play the game, but it's getting kids into college on baseball scholarships.
Since 1990, the Chicago White Sox Charities has given away $22 million to help the community. At the home of the White Sox, Stephen Lattimore for Lakeshore Report.
Well, fans of Northwest Indiana public transportation have been cheering on planned improvements to the South Shore rail line. Bus commuters have been losing regional assets. Our own Steve Walsh sat down with one local official to find out what's happening and why.
Northwest Indiana has been able to cooperate on some major issues like redeveloping the shoreline and enhanced policing. One area where things seem to be going backwards, though, is public transportation. Though it looks like the South Shore will be extended, but bus service has actually gotten worse in most of the region. One area which has seen the worst losses is in North Township, where the Regional Bus Authority shut down. To talk about where we are now, we have North Township trustee Frank Mervan. Frank, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
You mentioned that 3 years of money you had. That is scheduled to run out pretty much any time.
It ends this year in 2016. Right. So then what had happened is I scrambled because I was resistant to take the grant originally, because I knew after 24 months of providing this service, and if we were able to elevate it and provide those rides, it didn't matter where the money stopped coming from as far as NERPC and the CMAQ grant. All people who were going to know is that Frank Mervan, the North Township trustee, stopped providing rides.
And they've already been through that once before.
That is correct. Yeah. So I was very shy or hesitant about doing that. But once this will expire, we've had the help of actually Senator Donnelly and Congressman Visklowski, who received 2 more additional years of CMAQ grant money. But it's with a serious charge. It's with the ability for us to work with East Chicago and Gary to be able to set up a system that would be regional and include also Velpo and the Chicago line and all those types of different things.
Well, how are you going to do all of that with the kind of money you have when you barely have enough money to run the bus service that you have?
That is correct. So you have to be able to look for other sources of funding.
What are you telling me? That there is actually some plan underway to create a region-wide bus service again, bring back some form of the Regional Bus Authority?
I'm telling you that the City of East Chicago, ourself, and the City of Gary are sitting down in the near future to be able to discuss what we can do collectively in order to be able to provide the most efficient service.
Why is this so hard? We only have a little bit of time. Why is this so hard, and why do we have such a hard time doing this?
Well, there's multiple levels.
Even when there's all this money going to the South Shore to expand it into Dyer, everybody's piling on board with that, but yet we've lost bus service here.
So why it's so hard is because there are a couple reasons. One is obviously prioritization of funds. People have to see a bus full, running efficiently and effectively. And unfortunately, if you're 32 or 35 and younger, you're looking for communities and cities that you want to live in that have public transportation. But unfortunately, in our aging community, people look upon it that it's only someone other than themselves who need public transportation. We all have the luxury of 2 cars. Why it's so hard is because the prioritizing of the funds or the tax dollars to say this is important to us. 2, we haven't seen an effective or efficient system yet that people would jump on board. That's what we're trying to provide. And 3, there's a lot of people who think bus services pick people up from the north and bring them to the south and bad things happen. That's just a reality. Those are real life things that go on. So we have to overcome not only the perception.
Do you see that changing?
I do see that changing.
And how soon would you see something happen with Gary Hammond in Chicago where you might see?
I have one charge within 2 years because I run out of funding at that point. So if I build up a system for it to drop on its face and us to go back to 5 buses, we're at 12. We're ordering 2 more tomorrow. That's 14. So we've gone from 5 to 14. We also, what we've done to become more efficient is our overflow goes to AAA. So if we can't provide the buses, AAA picks those up for us and we have a contract with them. And on the dispatch side of things, we took our dispatching and have a cooperative effort with Prompt Ambulance. Right. They can launch a rocket from their dispatch center. So we're trying to provide the most effective, efficient way of providing the service so that
but this thing is all rolling out right now, essentially. You've got 2 years of funding. We'll see at the end of 2 years whether or not you've got a system that's going to work.
And it is breaking news to tell you that under Congressman Visklowski's management or bringing us together, East Chicago, Gary, and ourselves are moving in that direction. We're sitting at a table. NERPC will be brought in, ourselves. Private industry will be brought in to see how we could best run, and we will begin to map that out to be able to have a plan, to be able to go to the public and say, this is our plan, let's prioritize it. Because if you have a train station, what you're getting at, if you have a train station and you don't have the ability to get people who need it most to get there, then it's running at 50%.
Right.
So you have to have buses to be able to move people to the train station so that they can access the second largest global economy in the world, or third.
There you go. It's all integrated. Well, that's amazing news, given the fact that we've struggled so much with this issue. Well, we're going to have to end it right there. North Township Trustee Frank Mervan, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you, Steve.
In an effort to give you even more insight on region events, we're collaborating with the state's second largest newspaper, the Times of Northwest Indiana. Regularly, we'll have an exclusive preview of some of the top stories in this Sunday's paper. This week, Times reporter Bob Casarda talks with a local businessman and coffee aficionado, Andy Urschel of Dagger Mountain Roastery, who's educating the region about a better way to caffeinate.
The bean itself is the pit. It kind of all started, I had met my two cohorts, Dan and Ashton, through another cafe I had been working at, and we just all bonded over a love of coffee. And I was kind of at a point in my life where I was kind of searching for something to do, and I really liked working with them. I liked hanging out with them, and so it just kind of grew out of that. Like, we started doing some small experimenting and just seeing how well something like this worked in some of your larger cities like Chicago and Indianapolis, and we thought Valpo was a good place to give it a shot. If you like working with the people that you're working with, it's not really work. So we just kind of come in and we get to make coffee all day and just have a good time. We have our fights, but that's to be expected. There's never any animosity. It's just a lot of fun. Because we're kind of new, so I don't think people know what to expect. There are a lot of questions just about our roaster and, does it need a hood, or, what. They didn't know really what to expect from it. So I think just kind of the difference in what we're doing and how new it is to town, I don't think people really knew how to take it. So kind of clearing those zoning hurdles and things like that is a great learning experience. We want to educate people and just change their perception about coffee. Right now, it's just a beverage of convenience and speed, and there have been so many people who we've, made them one cup of coffee, and they are just, wow, I can't believe it tastes like this. There are just so many flavors you don't expect out of a cup of coffee that's not artificially flavored. I mean, these are the natural flavors that come out of a bean that people just aren't aware exists. So, yeah, we want to change people's perception of what coffee is, and that they can even make it like that at home.
For more information about the story, check out this Sunday's Times or log on to www.nwitimes.com. Twice a month, Lakeshore Report teams up with the Society of Innovators of Northwest Indiana to showcase some of the most forward-thinking people and ideas the region has to offer. This week, we introduce you to PCL Alverno, a Hammond company using innovative technology to help patients and their doctors get diagnostic information much faster than was previously possible.
Well, here at PCL Alverno, what we've done is we've really made significant changes and brought innovation into the field of microbiology. Microbiology is that field of laboratory medicine in which we study what we call microorganisms, bacteria and viruses that cause disease in patients. Traditionally, it's been a very manual, time-intensive process, and what we've been able to do is bring automation to that, along with some very sophisticated identification tools that allows us to kind of speed up the identification of a microorganism. We're able to move and generate that result probably 24 to 48 hours sooner than ever before.
The specimen is collected by healthcare personnel in a doctor's office or in the hospital, and those samples come to the laboratory, and that media is going to be where the bacteria will grow and make colonies that we can work with. In the automated situation, the incubators give an optimum environment for the bacteria. They can be growing as little as 12 to 16 hours. The next step is the actual reading of the plates. With the automation, the computer images are automatically taken at specified intervals and are made available to the techs to look at on the image screen, which is much faster than sorting through the plates. We then can work on the positive plates and ignore the negative plates. From that, next step is to do the identification. It takes about 15 to 20 seconds for each sample. What this does is allows the physician to prescribe specific antibiotics for the infecting agent, and this can shorten length of stay in the hospital and speed recovery of the patient. So I've been doing microbiology for 40 years, and that this technology in the last 3 years is just an unbelievable enhancement and advancement for microbiology. We're going to go from what we consider to be batch testing, looking at it once every 24 hours, to a continuous flow. When its culture is ready to be read, it will be read and read 24/7, reducing the turnaround times.
I think what's most important about technology, and the thing to remember, or innovation for that matter, it's great to be innovative, it's great to have fabulous technology and all those things, but it has to have a benefit. And that benefit really in healthcare has to have something to do with the patient and making that experience better, making that outcome better. So all that we do here every day is to care for patients.
For more information about the Society of Innovators, visit www.nwisoi.org. And don't forget, for more information on any of our stories, you can go to lakeshorepublicmedia.org. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you next time on Lakeshore Report.
Hi, joining me for this edition of Eye on the Arts is Philip Bauman, Music Director of the LaPorte County Symphony Orchestra. I didn't say that right, did I? Is it LaPorte County?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I said it right.
We service the whole area.
I know you do. I know. Welcome back, Phil.
Thank you for having me.
So this is, the main season is over, obviously,
Yes,
by now.
Right. The subscription season ended in April, and now we're on to the summer season.
Okay. So how many summer concerts do you do?
Well, this year we're going to be doing 2 orchestral concerts and then a concert in July of some chamber music. So we're getting out into the community a little bit more than we have in the past. So we're delighted to let your audience know our first concert is going to be in Michigan City on June 28th, which is Sunday evening, 7 o'clock. It's going to be at the Guy Foreman Bicentennial Amphitheater in Washington Park, free to the audience, and it's going to be a concert of patriotic and movie and Broadway hits. So it's going to be a delightful concert for everyone.
You have a theme for this concert.
Yes, we do. Star Spangled Spectacular.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Who'd want to miss that?
No one.
No one. It's outdoors.
It's outdoors, and it's a beautiful amphitheater in Washington Park. Greens. There's seating right up close to the stage, and then there's a lawn area for people to sit. And it's going to be a wonderful evening of music. We're going to bring in a very talented baritone that we first came across with at Hoosier Star last year. He was one of our contestants, adult contestant Delshawn Taylor, and he's going to be singing some music from Man of La Mancha, and the orchestra is going to be playing some great patriotic music and things from some John Williams and some armed forces salute, some military pieces to salute our military, and it's going to be a delightful evening.
So Delshawn, he was a Hoosier Star contestant.
Yes, he was.
Where is he from?
He's going to school in South Bend, and now just recently he had his debut at Orchestra Hall as part of the American Prize vocal competition, and he also was a musical theater award winner in Chicago. So his career is really taking off, and we're delighted that he's still around enough to be partaking in our concerts.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you kind of discovered him.
I think we have. I mean, he's got a tremendous history of what he's done, but now he's really taken off in the last year or so.
Good. You put him on the map.
I'd like to think so. Absolutely.
That's great. And then you're going to do the same concert or one near very, very like it.
Yes, on July 3rd, right before the 4th of July holiday in New Buffalo, our new location for us. We're going to be doing a concert which will have a few more pieces on it. It'll be a little different, and it'll end with fireworks. So
that'll be great. So you'll get a big Chicago audience.
I think
from
so. They're
that.
talking several thousand people there.
Wow.
It's a, this
Well, there are
time of year-
certainly several thousand people in New Buffalo for that weekend.
There are. That's a very hot place to be.
Yeah, and then then you have the chamber concert. you
Yes,
said,
and then
in July.
in July 9th, a Thursday evening in LaPorte at Fox Park, we'll be doing some chamber music for the people there as part of their Art in the Park series. So we're delighted that the community is supporting the orchestra and getting us out there for all these free events.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really spreading out.
Yeah, it's
becoming very regional.
Michigan City, New Buffalo, LaPorte, and yeah.
Okay.
It's great to be
Well,
out there.
good. Good luck with the concerts.
Thank you very much.
And thanks for being here, and thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Eye on the Arts. Eye on the Arts is made possible in part by South Shore Arts, the Indiana Arts Commission, and the National Endowment for the Arts, a federal agency.